Good afternoon, Team Colleton. I want to welcome everyone to this meeting. This is our district level comprehensive health advisory committee meeting. It's our first one of the school year for 2021. We will hold 3 more this year, either on YouTube Live or in person if possible. I want to welcome my co-chair, Dania Dingle, Nurse Dingle, and also Courtney Hinch from MUSC Boeing Children's Wellness. We are going to start with her this afternoon. She has some information going on about our wellness checklist that the nurses participate in for each of the schools, and to promote our health and wellness in our schools and in our district that also go along with our wellness policy. So I'll hand it over to Courtney. You may see her pop in and out, but she's going to have her presentation on the screen for you. Thank you.
I'm Courtney Hinch. I know most of y'all. I am the program coordinator for the district's wellness initiative with MUSC Boeing Center. So today we're just going to go over some of the updates on the checklist for this school year. Does everyone have a copy in front of them? Okay. And can y'all hear me on WebEx? Don't be afraid to speak up. All right. So as most of y'all know, the mission of MUSC Boeing Center is we engage the school community. So that's not just engaging the students and the staff, but it's also engaging families and the outside community in creating a healthy learning environment through implementing wellness initiatives specifically for your school's population, your students, your staff, your families. And why do we do this? I know I talk about this every single year when we talk, but the whole initiative is based off of this whole school, whole community, whole child model. At that center of this image, that's that child that we really want, one that's healthy, safe, challenged, supported, and engaged. While we all know academics are super, super important, there's so many other things you can see in this outside ring that also play into having that successful child. Not only while they're in school, but later on in life. Just want to recognize all 8 schools were awarded a Wellness Award last year. I just said y'all are the only district that we participate, or that participates with us, and we work with 13 other ones that have had participation every single year. So give yourselves a round of applause. Also, speaking on that Wellness Award money, we're still kind of looking for the check. It was mailed, but TBD. I'm sorry. Working on it. So, the main purpose of today is kind of going through the new things on the checklist. Of course, everyone's operating very differently in their schools. Some kids are virtual still, some kids are in school. So we want our wellness initiative to really reach those kids that are still virtual, because wellness probably right now is more important than anything, not only just like physical health, but also mental especially. So this year we really expanded our social emotional learning category on the checklist, and then just another little change is we changed staff wellness, employee connection staff wellness. Same requirements to earn that wellness award, you all know that. And then just a brief overview of the timeline. Just know this is very, very flexible. Who knows what's going to happen in the next week, day. So this is very flexible, but as always, just make sure that your school has those wellness leaders, that wellness teams created. Engage as many people as you can. Once you get your online username and password, make sure to lock a point for being here today, even y'all online. And then we'll do our wellness focus group if that's possible in January, February. Again, we'll play by ear. And then the checklist will be due sometime in May. That's when we'll wrap things up. We'll figure out a due date once we kind of have a good idea what second semester is going to look like. But the theme is flexibility, going with the flow. Same award structures, really pushed all year after year. So 500, 750, or 1,000. We're going to try and fix that additional 1,000. So now I'll really go into the checklist. I'll be mainly highlighting new things and then things that can be done really this year with the virtual setting as well as the in-person. So pretty much the same thing in getting started, just having that wellness committee of at least 3 people. It's best to have more. We all know that this needs to be a collaborative effort and engaging different people in the schools. It's not just the nurses, it's not just the PE teacher. It needs to be a collaborative effort because everyone brings a different perspective to the table. Obviously, y'all are not going to have the same viewpoint as Danielle, who's a PE teacher, right? Very different. So make sure you plan a point for attending today. And then also update your Healthier Generation Assessment Action Plan. And Ellen will go into this a little bit later, but if y'all are able to apply for one of the Healthy Schools Awards, definitely try and do that. It's a great recognition. And then we added getting a point for sharing a success story. Right now, we're all trying to find that positive. So share a success story, you get a point. So now we're kind of getting into like more details of the checklist. Y'all follow along. If you have questions about an item I'm not covering, just speak up, ask questions, whatever you need to do. If you want kind of to brainstorm anything, just let me know. Same for y'all watching online. So for nutrition number 4, we changed that one. That used to be the 2 Bite Club. We changed it to just becoming a USDA Teen Nutrition School, just so all of the schools can claim that point. So they have great free resources for all grade levels, keyword being free. Lots of great posters, books, lessons, things like that. For nutrition number 10, the water drinking campaign. Water drinking is so important, always, and we know this year it is challenging because I'm assuming y'all's water fountains are turned off, covered. So if you're able to get water bottles, reusable ones for your students, still have that water drinking campaign. This is also a really good time to get that water policy implemented at your school, just so kids are not going to the vending machine and that's not how they're fueling their body with beverages. And then also engaging community partners to help get those donations. I'm happy to help brainstorm with you if you're looking for community partners to help donate water bottles. And then a lot of the stuff, so community partner presentations for staff as well as students related to nutrition, have those be virtual. That is completely fine. Do exactly whatever works for your school. And I know I've talked to some of y'all about this, but virtual field trips. They are a lot easier than actually coordinating a real field trip, and free. So there's a lot of great free ones out there right now. I'll send you this presentation with all these links, but it's virtualfarmtrips.com, and they have so many great resources for these field trips. And they are engaging, a lot of them are live, so your students can actually interact. And then school gardens, I know all of y'all have one. Still utilize that as much as you can. It's a good way to get the kids outside, and then still incorporating that nutrition education. You can maintain the garden in person, whether or not you can get the students involved, and then you can still have the lessons virtually. And then promote locally grown produce as much as you can, even if your school is not using the cafeteria as it normally does or functioning however it normally does. You can still promote the locally grown produce as much as possible. And the nutrition education lessons, there are so many great free resources if we're trying to look for a silver lining about COVID and things not being in person. Okay. Sorry, y'all, it's not so much me. There's a lot of free online things. So definitely take a look at those online. They're on our website. There's so many great stuff out there to incorporate, not only for your students in class, but also the virtual ones. Do you have any questions? Talking to me is no joke. Okay. So individual activity, physical activity breaks during the day. So important, especially for those kids that are virtual. Sitting in front of a computer all day is such a challenge for me. I cannot even imagine being a 13-year-old and having to do that. Or really anyone in school and having to do that. So still encourage your teachers at your school to continue to incorporate those physical activity breaks. They can be just a minute long throughout the day, little bit longer, whatever works for y'all. And then you can still also incorporate ABL lessons, which are the action-based learning lessons. Again, you can still incorporate those virtual students, getting them moving while they're actually learning. And then physical education, please really advocate for that. Danielle, I know that you can really speak to that. There's a lot of great guidelines out there just to have PE in a safe way, have it socially distanced, but also keeping with actual PE. And then we added on the checklist just to be inclusive to provide adaptive PE activities. There's a lot of great resources for that as well. We also have a past special education teacher on our team, so if you do want specific resources, just let me know and I can connect you with her. And then recess, so important. Really advocate for that if you can. Getting those kids out there running around, unstructured time, getting that energy out, and that can be scheduled time for the virtual students as well. And then virtual walk and run clubs. This is a good way you can also engage those virtual kids as well. But having those, any kind of walking club, even if they aren't able to be held specifically at the school, if you can have them after school, just when kids get home, if they're tracking their steps, things like that, and reporting back. It's just a good way for them to still have that connectedness with others and like they're part of something, even if they can't necessarily be together. Same thing with the participating as a student team in virtual community walk run events. I did see that the Rice Run is now virtual, and you can do it anytime up until the end of December. And I think it's like $5 to register. Walk to school day events. I've heard very mixed things, so I don't know what would work best for y'all, but if you need to do walk at school and do it alongside with the PE class or just coordinate with other classes, it can be a walk at school, or you can do it virtually. And then virtual field day, we did have a lot of successes last school year when everything closed down. Everyone pivoted very quickly, so there's a lot of good resources for those as well. And then we did add a point for providing adaptive activities or hosting a unified field day. And then having community partner presentations for staff. There's a lot of great virtual things. The action-based learning live events, they're like every Wednesday afternoon, and they're completely free. You can claim a point if anyone at your school, any of the staff members attend that. There's some really interesting topics that they're covering. Any questions on physical activity? No? My virtual people? No? Everyone's being quiet? Okay. All right, so social emotional learning, so important. In a normal year, especially this year, a lot of kids experience trauma, adults too. Everyone's under a tremendous amount of stress. We all need to just take care of ourselves. It's very, very important because you can't really care for others if you're not caring for yourself. So with that, starting with just implementing SEL lessons in the classroom. This can really cover any SEL topic that you feel is appropriate or your teachers feel appropriate for their students. You can also get 5 points if you're doing a school-wide comprehensive SEL program. There are a lot of great ones out there. There are some free ones. CASEL, C-A-S-E-L, has a list of a bunch of them. They're also on our website that you can look at. But there's free ones. There are ones that cost money, but they have a lot of different options for the different grade levels. And then substance misuse prevention program. I don't know about y'all, but I've heard a lot of increase in issues with that, with kids being out of school. So there are great resources. Catch My Breath is online, and it's completely free for grades 5 through 12, and it really focuses mainly on like vaping and the e-cigarette thing. And then implementing a bullying prevention program. I know a lot of you do already have Olveas at your school. Yeah. So you can get those points. So just making sure it's a program, just really keeping it ongoing throughout the year, focusing on that. And then having a student-led SEL project or campaign, giving the students that voice so they're able to be heard. It can, again, cover anything that your students want to focus on. And then also implement trauma-informed strategies in the classroom. That's another one we left really broad, so teachers are able to get creative and do whatever makes sense for their specific students. So this can be anything from playing calming music, dimming the lights if needed, doing breathing exercises, things like that throughout the day. And then also you get points for creating and displaying classroom shared agreements. This is just creating kind of agreements between students, how they're going to interact with themselves, how they're going to interact with adults in the school as well. Just creating that sense of, creating a close culture. I can't think of the word. And then creating a designating calming and relaxation space for students. So just a place where students can go just to kind of decompress. We all know those students that can really benefit from just stepping away for a few minutes and just taking a breather. So having that designated space, whether it's having some type of comfortable chair and having like lava lamps, stress balls, things like that. And obviously you'll be safe about it, doing what makes sense for your school and following the rules. And then also we added to SEL the health education curriculum, and just really tying that into the 5 SEL competencies. There's a lot of great overlap already, so just really putting that emphasis on that while you're going through your health education curriculum. And then school, adopt and promote a school-wide bullying policy. There is a sample policy on our website that you are able to utilize. I know a lot of schools already have them, which is really good. So really promoting it this year if you can. And then, just like the other ones, community partner presentations. This one is specifically for students. It can be on any topic. It can be virtually bringing in people to talk about substance misuse. It can be talking about just mental health. It can be talking about suicide, anything like that. Any questions about SEL? No? Okay. So, wellness culture, you can definitely still include that healthy messaging in the morning announcements, even for those virtual kids. Just making sure that you're doing it at least once a week. Putting that message out, again, anything that makes sense for your school, whether it's on nutrition, physical activity, or an SEL topic. And then policies are really great ones to kind of push this year if you're able to, because we don't really want outside food coming in to the schools, correct? So utilizing that as a way to kind of push these non-food rewards that also go in line with all this great wellness stuff that y'all have been doing for years and years. So non-food rewards, making sure that students are not being rewarded with food, rather with different activities, books, extra recess, whatever other than food is fine. And same thing with birthday parties and celebrations. We still want to celebrate the students. So important to recognize them, but really focusing on fun rather than food. And then water drinking again. We don't want the kids fueling themselves with vending machine drinks. We really want them to be drinking water during the day. So if you can get that water drinking policy. And physical activity, always important. Please don't take it away from students as a means of punishment. And that also goes into this alternative behavior management ideas, providing a list of just different strategies for teachers. This can really go hand in hand with your physical activity policy and your non-food reward policies. They align really well. We have lists already on our website. You'll can look at them, tailor them to meet the needs of your school, and just provide those to the teachers and really encourage them to not take away recess or make kids walk laps, things like that. Student Wellness Resource Library, make that virtual if you need to. Easy points, promoting your wellness initiative community on social media. And then also the family wellness newsletter, you can definitely still do that. You can email it, you can send it virtually, however you need to. And then staff wellness. Do you have any questions about wellness culture? Okay. So staff wellness, weight management program, if you need to put this virtually on a virtual platform, you can definitely do that. Having one of these this year is really good, again, for teachers might be feeling kind of a little disconnected from each other because we're trying not to interact too much with other people and keeping our distance. So having that virtual platform, I've had some schools create like a group on like Google Chat or something like that, or Facebook, things like that, to just have teachers and staff interact with each other through a weight management program. That can be a step challenge, that can be something through PIBO, we can do something called Naturally Slim for free. I've had some schools really like that. Lots of different things you can do for the weight management program. And then fitness classes and yoga and mindfulness activities, make those virtual. It's again that good connectedness for your staff members, and a good way to kind of them to take some time, as well as y'all to take some time for yourselves. There are a lot of great resources out there. There's actually one that I'll share with y'all after this that is has like live classes that people throughout the U.S. are going to be participating in. And then same thing with as the students participate as a staff team. Again, the Rice Run is virtual anytime until December 31st. So that can be incorporated into a walking club for your run club for your staff members. That can be incorporated into your weight management program. But just getting people together, whether it's kind of separated, however you want to do it, and getting them to run that together and any other events that might come up. And then 2 new ones, again, specifically for staff, incorporating intentional opportunities to encourage team building and connectedness in staff meetings. This can be anything like sharing compliments, affirmations, things like that, just to kind of build that positive connection, to make staff meetings a little bit more engaging and less business. And same thing with incorporating physical activity breaks into existing staff meetings. So get people up and show them exactly what y'all are talking about when you're encouraging the schools to do their physical activity breaks. People might think you're crazy, but they'll laugh, which is really good. So then a few more things. This is create and display a staff shared agreement. Again, this is just to create a culture of collaboration and respect among staff members. So just having everyone get together during a staff meeting, creating those staff shared agreements about how they're going to interact with each other, how they're going to interact with students, things like that. Just like the weight management program, healthy staff incentive program, move that online as well. Incorporate it, however, into the weight management or the walking group, things like that. Staff wellness, that can be virtual, easy one. It's actually probably better to have it online so folks don't walk away like they typically do. Make sure your schools still have that staff relaxation area. Move it outside if you need to. Staff members need fresh air just as much as the students do. And then the newsletter, easy one as well. That can be emailed, however your school gets information out to staff. All right, y'all, almost done. Wanted to share a few grant opportunities that are coming up. There's a youth garden grant. That one would be really great for y'all to apply for, to build upon your gardening programs that you already have at your school. The shade structure grant is very important to have. It gets hot here, the sun's strong, so having those playground structures and outside area that is covered. You just have to have a dermatologist give you a letter of recommendation on there. And then the Walmart local community grant. This goes through your local Walmart, but it can be anything from $250 to $5,000. So big range, and it can cover anything regarding nutrition, healthy eating, things like that. And then there's some good community-based wellness trainings, and again, kind of the silver lining of COVID. Lots of stuff moved online. Action-based learning has really good, their online academy, they have a lot of different trainings available, and we do have a promo code to get $100 off that training too, which I'll email out, but it's MUSC 100. And then the Mindful Schools one's also really good. It's, they're doing a discount on it right now, so definitely check that out. Community partners, you'll know this, super important to engage them still, even if they can't necessarily come into your school, finding different ways to engage them. And then bonus, y'all know with bonus, just 1 point for nutrition, 1 point for physical activity, 1 point for social emotional learning. Don't let bonus make or break you, please. Let me know if y'all have questions about it. All right, something really brand new. We're trying to make things easier for y'all. So we allowed certain items on the checklist to carry over this year. You still need to do them, and they still need to be relevant for your school this year. But if you see points already checked on your checklist and things already entered in the description boxes and things uploaded, that is why it carried over from last year. So all I ask is you just double check, make sure you're still doing it, and then you don't have to worry about it. All right, y'all. We have added so many resources to our website. So musckids.org/Boeing Center. We have just normal checklist resources as well as one specifically for your students that are in that distance learning setting. Also, be sure to join our Facebook group if you have not already. It's a really good way to connect with other school wellness committees throughout the state. We are growing this initiative a lot this year, so there's going to be more and more people for you to talk with, kind of bounce ideas off of, share your successes, as well as if you're struggling with anything, have an idea, don't know how to implement, just ask them, and I'm sure everyone would be happy to help. I say this every year, but biggest tip for success, create that strong wellness committee. Engage as many people as you can within the school. This is not a one-woman, one-man show. It needs to be collaborative, and if you need help engaging others, please, please, please let me know and let me know how I can help you. Let people know what you're doing. Communication is so big. Communicate your goals to administrators and to other school staff, to parent groups, any student leadership groups as well. Delegate. Set attainable goals for this school year. Do what makes sense for your school. This year's not going to look the same as other ones, so just have that in mind. Do what makes sense. Community partners, as always, important. Like I said before, connect with other wellness committees, whether it's in the district. Yes, I know this is competition, which the trophy is up for grabs since there was no grand prize last year. But join our Facebook group because it also gives you access to other people within the state. And then, I know easier said than done, start inputting points and uploading the documentation when you're ready, and do it as you go, so it's not last minute. And if you need help with that, please let me know. And then, biggest thing, please email, call me, text me, whatever you need. I'm always here to help. I want to help y'all, and I want y'all to feel successful in this initiative. And really, y'all are doing such an amazing job year after year. So however I can support you in that growth, in that sustaining, please let me know. All right, so just some next steps. If y'all can email me, especially y'all that are virtual, mainly y'all that are virtual, if you can just email me your name and wellness committee members this year, obviously what school, I know most of y'all. And then just any questions, comments, things like that. And then I will follow up with y'all after this, just with the online checklist usernames and passwords. I will send y'all another PDF copy of the checklist, and then I'll send you these slides and resource links too. And just so y'all know how to reach me, please, 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 if you don't have this already, put it down, utilize it. I'm here to help. Any questions? Oh, so quiet, always.
You've been doing this a long time.
I know. Well, thank y'all so much. I really appreciate y'all taking the time to come here today and listen to me. And please don't hesitate to reach out.
forgive me for removing my mask. I lose my breath trying to speak with it on, so I'm sorry. I would like to say that thank you so much, Courtney, for coming and going over all of that with us. And I will go into this. I handed out the district wellness policy triennial assessment report for 2020. I had to submit that this year. I had the opportunity to apply for a waiver to send it out next year, but I felt that we were prepared enough to go ahead and send it. So I went ahead and sent it instead of applying for that waiver. Because I would like us to stay on track with what we've been doing for the last several years. When we adopted our wellness policy, the district adopted it, so we have been trying to enforce in the school level and at the district level that we follow that wellness policy. This triennial assessment measures, it measures whether we are fully in place with the policy or partially or not in place. And as you look through it, you can see that for the most part, we're fully in place with a lot of the most important areas. There are some that were partially in place. We all know that the policy says no food for rewards, and some still do it. That is hard to monitor and control in a district. But that's where it comes in that your committee, your school committee, along with the district committee, and Dania, Nurse Dingle, and myself are co-chairs of that committee. So if you need any help or suggestions, reach out to us and we will help you in any way we can for your school committees. But the best thing you can do is educate your school committee and then educate your staff and students on the policy. And the policy is in the board policies on the website. If you pull that up, you can see all of the policy there, and you can actually educate your staff and students on the regulations of what we agreed to do as a district. And some of that is fundraisers. Remember, fundraisers they have to be Smart Snack compliant, or they have to apply for an exempt fundraiser that can only last for one day at a time, and it can't be back-to-back days. Like they can't do 30 different ones for 30 straight days. There has to be time in between them. And they have to document it in writing that they have an exempt fundraiser. This is what they're doing for this one day. So if they had a special meal or something like that they wanted to sell for a day that didn't meet Smart Snacks, they could do that, but it could only be one day. You can do donuts as long as you do it by orders and you don't sell them in the school during the day. There are still things you can do with food as long as it's after hours or done by order form and not brought into the building and sold individually in the building for them to basically eat while they're at school. And I know that we're in a different situation this year, but the policy is still there. And we have to follow it whether we're virtual or whether we're face-to-face. And so if you need any help with staff, if you see something going on, and I don't expect you to be the food police, because I'm not. What I expect is you to see it as an educational opportunity to go talk to your administrator and say, you know, the district has adopted this policy and this doesn't meet the policy. We need to look at maybe trying to improve this and see how, and ask for ideas and offer your assistance in helping the administrator. Because the administrator has a lot of things to oversee, and they may not realize that they approved a fundraiser that wasn't compliant. They may just be looking at the fundraiser and all the things about it, and they may not realize it, and you might need to refresh their memory with the policy. So this, you can keep this assessment and use this to kind of weigh your own individual school, because I did it as a district. And some schools may be doing a little bit better at some of these than others, but I did it as a district-wide assessment. And I'm always willing to help with that. Remember, the wellness policy is something that we've adopted, and we need to strive to get to the point where we're meeting everything fully. And I will help you any way I can. The monitoring and the process, you do that every day when you're doing your checklist. If you have met all of these areas on your checklist, then you have probably met the Alliance for a Healthier Generation award. So it makes no sense for you not to apply for that award and get recognized, because you're doing the work. Every one of you have done the work for however many years we've been doing this, a long time. And I'm proud of all the work you've done, and I feel like all of us as a district are very proud that we've made these changes in health and wellness, and we need to continue. But I do think that if you need help with your committee, or let us know who your committee is. If you have your 4 meetings a year, we're required 4 at the district level, but you're also required 4 in your school. We can come and help you with ideas of what you can do at your meetings to maybe encourage them to take that next step and not do some of the things that are against the policy that they might have been doing. But anything like that you can help with. And I know that some of you, I said I wouldn't take too long, so does anybody have any questions about the wellness policy, fundraisers, anything like that that might be going on that you'd like some assistance with? Are there any questions at all that pertain to that? Everybody's good. Ms. Nurse Dingle, would you like to say any closing remarks about anything that needs to be spoken about today? Nothing? All right. If that is it, I would like to thank you all for joining us, and I appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon and try to stay dry. Thank you.